Hi, it's me, Charles the Lion. We're going to continue our discussion of the journey of life. And if you remember, we have been focused on changing habits, how we do that. I've been reading a book called Smart Change, 5 Tools to Create New and Sustainable Habits in Yourself and Others, and using this as kind of a guide to our discussion. What we found yesterday was that there are 2 systems that we use, one when we create a habit and the other in order to change or stop doing something that we don't necessarily want to do. And they are the go system and the stop system. And these are actually physiological, psychological, and biological functions of the brain that cause us to have certain behaviors or do certain things. The go system, we found out, was that part of the brain that takes our tasks that we do on a consistent basis that require concentration and focus, and that we do in a certain environment, and that environment is consistent. Like, for example, smoking. Many people smoke after dinner or with drinks or when they get in a car, or there are some certain environmental cues that trigger the habit of smoking. And we found that the go system is very persistent. It's always on the lookout for these things that we're focusing and concentrating on, trying to figure out if it can develop neural pathways to the subconscious mind. And once in the subconscious mind, the habit is created. It's ingrained. You don't have to do anything else because you can do that behavior without ever thinking about it. Then there's the stop system. The stop system is what we engage when we are trying to stop a habit, when we're trying to change our diet, when we're trying to get up earlier, when we're trying to learn a new skill. That's where we engage the stop system. Now, the stop system just happens to be a lot less potent and persistent than the go system. Why is that? The stop system is less persistent because it requires focus. It requires you to constantly think about what it is that you want to do or don't want to do. So, when you get the cue to light a cigarette, you get a craving in your brain that sends a signal to the part of the brain that engages your muscles to pick up the pack, open it, put it in your mouth, and light it. You can do that without thinking about it, without even understanding or knowing why you are doing it. All you know is that you have an emotional or a craving that says, I want a cigarette. Well, the stop system has to override that craving. Now, remember, the craving is subconscious. The desire to stop is in the conscious. That requires focus. It requires concentration. It requires you to have the ability to say to the habit, to say to that craving, I am no longer a smoker, or I am a non-smoker, and then to do something differently. Drink a glass of water, walk around the block, drink some tea, take a mint, anything to stop that craving and to redirect your energy to doing more positive things. So this is the gist of what we want to discuss today. It takes energy to change your behavior. It takes focus and concentration. You have to understand that the craving for a cigarette is only an electrical impulse in your brain going from one neuron to the other. It impacts the emotional centers in the brain that either make you frustrated or anxious when you don't have a cigarette, and you must acquire the ability to overcome those emotional cues by replacing them with something more healthy. And this is true for any type of behavior that you want to change. Whether it is a habitual way of thinking, some habit that you have engaged in. For example, you don't, you wake up at 8 o'clock and you want to start waking up at 6 o'clock. You have to change a habit, and there are probably some other habits that you would have to change in that as well. And for example, turning off the television at night and going to sleep. So tomorrow we will talk more about the stop system, and I hope these talks are helpful and useful to you. They're a lot of fun for me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Take care.